Hey everyone, we're going to work on the next set of Khan Academy questions, which is a little bit of equations and a little figuring out what these angles are. So we're going to work on two questions, and I'm going to work on this first one with you. So they give you some information. So they give you the measure of LON is 77. Now remember, angles are usually represented by three letters, and that middle letter is the vertex, which means it's the corner. So let's figure out LON. So I'm going to just follow it in the order that it's labeled. So I have LON, and they're telling me that this whole angle is 77. So I'm going to write that in. So this whole entire angle, so L, if you trace it, LON, that's that whole angle, okay? So now for the second one, they said the measure of LOM is 9x plus 44. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that in. Let's put in 9x plus 44. Okay. And then they said that MON is 6x plus 3. So I'm going to write that in as well. 6x plus 3. In order to find, they want to know the measure of angle MON. So in order to do that, we have to get rid of this x variable. So what we can do is set up an equation. So let's do that over here. This bigger. Okay. So if we know the whole measure of the angle is 77, and they give us this information here below, we're going to want to equal it to 77. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. 9x plus 44. So this angle plus this angle plus the 6x plus 3, and this whole thing equals 77. Okay. So in order, when we set this up now, we can actually solve for the value of x. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to combine like terms. So I have my 9x and my 6x, which is going to give me 9x plus 6x is 15x. And then the remainder, we have 44 plus 3, and we'll get 47. And I'm going to bring down the rest of the equation. Okay. So all I did was I combined like terms. So I had these like terms and these like terms. And now we're just going to continue to simplify. So I'm going to subtract 47 on both sides, and I'm going to be left with 15x equals 30. And that step was just subtracting 47 on both sides to get that x, to start getting that x alone. All right, so we'll cross this out. That ended up being 30. And then you have to divide by 15 on both sides because this is attached by multiplication, and you would have gotten x equals 2. So let me just show you that step. Then we would have divided by 15. And that's how I got 2. Right? So we know the value of x is 2, but that's not what the question is actually asking for. So we want to keep in mind what the question is asking. All right, so they're looking for the measure of MON, which we know to be 6x plus 3. So if we know the value of x, then we can plug it in to find the angle measure. So I'm going to do that here. Let's do it in one other color. Right, so if we know the value of MON is 6x plus 3, I'm going to do 6 times the value of x, which is 2, and then I'm going to add 3. And your final answer should be 15, right? So this measure of the angle should be 15. And we really should be able to figure out the other angle. If you would have done 77 minus 15, you would have gotten this to be 62. And you could always check that. You could do 9 times 2 plus 44, right? So that's how you solve this one. I'm going to show you one more. So we have the given again. So the measure of LON is a straight angle, right? So we have LON is a straight angle, and that should give us a hint that it should equal 180, right? If we remember our rules back from the first set of questions and also the organizer. Okay, so let's fill in the information that we have. So the measure of MON, again, just trace it, is 8x minus 13. So I'm going to write that in. 8x minus 13. And then I'm going to write in the second one. They said that the measure of LOM here is 7x minus 17. Right, so the same concept of before, this whole angle equals 180. So how we're going to be able to figure out what the measure of x is, we're going to have to use an equation. So I'm going to write that over here. So we have to know that 7x minus 17 plus the measure of the other angle, which is 8x minus 13 equals 180. Okay, so the same process as before. We are going to combine like terms. So I have this one and I have this one, and then I have this guy and I have this guy. Okay, so that's going to end up, let's start combining like terms. All right, 7x plus 8x is going to give you 15x, and then a negative 17 minus 13 is going to give you a minus 30. And I'm going to bring down the rest of the equation. Okay. So then I'm going to add 30 to both sides. I'm going to get 15x equals 210. And I'm going to show you that step. I'm going to add 30 to both sides to start getting that x alone. And then I'm going to divide by 15. Okay, and let's see what our x value is. So 210 divided by 15, x is going to equal 14. All right, so we know the value of x. So now we actually can go back to the original question and we can figure out the measure that they want. So they want the measure of MON. So if we go down here, MON is this one here. So let's see if we can figure that out. So we have 8, and you're going to multiply by the value of x, which is 14, which we just found. Then you're going to subtract 13, right? When you put that all on your calculator, you're going to get 99, right? So if this is 99, we actually can figure out the measure of the other angle. If we do 180 minus 99, we would get 81, okay? So this is the final answer. This is MON, right? If you have any questions, you can message us.